This is a story about a single moment, a moment that turned despair into hope, a moment that changed 3 lives forever. On a freezing winter afternoon, icy wind rushed through the streets of a busy American city. Cars sped past, people hurried home, and no one wanted to stay outside longer than necessary. At the corner of a crowded intersection stood Emily Carter, a young mother barely 25 years old. Her hands were red and trembling from the cold as she held a small basket of flowers. Strapped tightly against her chest were her 18-month-old twins, Lucas and Lily. Their tiny faces were flushed from the freezing air. Emily had dressed them in every warm piece of clothing she owned, layering sweaters and jackets until their little bodies could hardly move. Still, it wasn't enough. The cold always found a way in. Emily had bought the flowers early that morning with the last of her money. Simple bouquets, daisies, carnations, and a few roses. She hoped commuters might stop, even just 1 or 2, so she could afford diapers and food for the night. Flowers, fresh flowers, she called out softly. $5 a bunch. Most people didn't look at her. Some walked faster. Some glanced briefly and looked away. Others stared for a moment, judging without knowing her story. Emily had learned to endure it. She hadn't always lived like this. Once, she was a nursing student with dreams of helping people and building a stable life. Then she became pregnant. When she told her boyfriend, he disappeared. No goodbye. No support. Her family turned away too, ashamed and unwilling to help. Emily dropped out of school. She worked whatever jobs she could while pregnant. She gave birth to twins in a charity hospital, alone except for one kind nurse who held her hand. Childcare was too expensive. Full-time work barely paid rent. Government assistance helped just enough to survive, but never enough to escape. So she found another way. She sold flowers on the street. On good days, she earned enough to get by. On bad days, she earned nothing. Today was a bad day. After hours in the cold, she had sold only 2 bouquets. $10. Lucas began to cry, his small voice weak and tired. Lily followed, their cries mixing with the sound of traffic. Emily gently rocked them, whispering reassurances she wasn't sure she believed herself. "It's okay," she murmured. "Mama's here." Her eyes burned with tears. Every day felt like a battle. She was slowly losing. Suddenly, a loud horn startled her. She had stepped too close to the curb. A driver yelled angrily. Emily stepped back, clutching her basket tightly. That was when a black luxury car pulled up to the curb. It didn't slow down. It didn't hesitate. It stopped. The window rolled down, revealing a well-dressed man in his early 40s. His expression wasn't pity. It wasn't judgment. It was attention. "How much for all the flowers?" he asked. Emily blinked in disbelief. "All of them?" "Yes, every bouquet." She glanced into her basket. $75, she said quietly. The man handed her a $100 bill. "Keep the change," he said. Then he looked at the twins. "Would you like to sit in the car for a moment? It's warm." Fear flashed through her mind. But then she looked at Lucas and Lily, exhausted and shivering. They needed warmth. "Okay," she whispered. The man stepped out and opened the back door. Warm air filled the space as Emily carefully settled the twins inside. The heat brought instant relief. "My name is Jonathan Miller," he said. "I'd like to help, but first, tell me your name." "Emily," she replied. Something in his voice made her feel safe enough to speak. She told him everything. School, abandonment, struggle, impossible choices, and the exhaustion of trying every single day just to survive. "I work so hard," she said through tears, "but it's never enough." Jonathan listened quietly. After a long pause, he spoke. "Years ago, I stood on a street like this," he said. "I had lost everything. A stranger stopped and gave me an opportunity, not charity. That moment saved my life." He looked at Emily and her children. "I promised myself that one day I'd do the same for someone else." Jonathan offered Emily a job at a medical clinic connected to his investment firm. The hours were flexible. The work was stable. He also arranged subsidized daycare, so her children would be safe while she worked. Emily was terrified, but she said yes. The next morning, She walked into a building she never imagined belonging in. Her twins were welcomed with warmth and care. Her job was challenging, but meaningful. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. Emily returned to school. She completed her nursing degree. She moved into a small but warm apartment. Lucas and Lily grew healthy and strong. Jonathan never took credit. "You did this," he told her. "I just stopped the car." Years later, Emily stood once again at the same intersection. This time, she wasn't selling flowers. She was handing out information about support programs for struggling parents. A young mother looked at her and asked, "Is this real?" Emily smiled gently. "It is. I know, because I was here once." That day, Emily went home to a warm house filled with laughter. Her children, now older, sat at the table talking about their dreams. All because one person chose to stop. This story is shared by a moment of humanity, because sometimes all it takes to change a life is one moment of kindness.